Fidelity predicts a $1 billion Bitcoin by 2038, but with that, XRP would represent $25,000 per token. Is this an insane figure? Yeah, it is an insane figure, but let's get into the math behind it to better understand if this is even possible and what would need to happen for us to get there. We're also going to take a look at some new information coming out of the SEC and Paul Atkins talking about a super app is a key priority. I wonder what they're talking about here. Could to do with blockchain infrastructure. And I got a bunch of other Ripple and XRP news. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Digital Asset Investor posted this yesterday. Fidelity predicts $1 billion Bitcoin by 2038. AI predicts $25,000 XRP in that scenario. What does that even mean? Let me just show you. If Bitcoin hits 1 billion per token, the estimated price of 25,000 per XRP depends heavily on market cap ratios and XRP's share of the total crypto market. But the math behind this scenario is straightforward and reveals key variables to monitor. And so it gives you a little bit of information of where we stand today. XRP represents 175 to 192 billion in September. Also, we're just under $4 trillion in market cap. But right now, XRP's market share, which how much of the total market cap of XRP represents in the entire market cap of the crypto space, you're talking about 4.5% to 5%. Now, this is ticking up slowly. And I do believe with the ETFs around the corner, Ripple getting their banking license, and as more people wake up to the understanding that the stock market is soon to be on blockchain and the settlement for that stock market will be through the DTCC, and the DTCC has patents that involve XRP, XLM, and a few other tokens, people are going to start putting these together. Obviously, we've done the research and due diligence on this channel for years, so we know this already, but the rest of the world going to catch up pretty quickly here. It talks about the circulating supply, and it talks about a little bit of the math behind a $1 billion Bitcoin, but I don't want to talk about that, how we get to these prices for XRP, because that's what you're here for. XRP priced by market cap multipliers. If XRP maintains 5% of the total crypto market cap and it expands to say 40 quadrillion, XRP market cap 0.05 quadrillion, 2 quadrillion is what we would need to get to with a total supply of 100 billion tokens circulating. That'd be $20,000 per token. Now, I do believe XRP could represent a larger share of the market going forward, maybe even 10 to 15% of the entire crypto market, if in fact XRP is that one utility token that the world is going to rely on for settlement if we get there. So here's some additional information on a higher percentage. You can obviously see that on your screen. I don't need to read this to you. It's 40,000, 60,000, yada, yada, yada. Realistic considerations though. These numbers assume massive crypto adoption, institutional inflows, and macroeconomic transformation, which are very speculative. So let's just be transparent with this, right? Supply dynamics matter. If a portion of XRP supply is locked, burned, or illiquid, the available circulating supply would be lower. So as we build out these DeFi layers on the XRP ledger, as the EVM sidechain gets to where it wants to go at full scale, as thousands of developers come into the XRP ledger, all of those projects are going to require more XRP. And as we find new ways to lock up yield on our XRP, that is going to reduce the circulating supply, and that could have a major impact. I did want to get some additional information here, right? Like, how would you even get to a $2 quadrillion market cap for XRP? Because like, that's the answer everyone wants to know. Like, obviously there isn't enough money in the world to go into a type of asset, paper money. It would need to be assets live on traded on the ledger. And you expand on the thinking, a $2 quadrillion market cap for XRP would be possible if the XRP ledger becomes the settlement layer for a unimaginable scale of tokenized global assets, not just cryptocurrencies, but the sizable portion of financial assets, currencies, and value-bearing instruments worldwide. Global money supply versus tokenized asset projections. The global money supply is roughly $112 trillion as of 2025. Even when including all major economies, the amount actually circulating fiat and digital currency falls short of 1 quadrillion, let alone 2 quadrillion. Tokenized asset market. By industry projections, the tokenized real-world asset market may reach 18.9 trillion by 2033, but with some bull analysts speculating 30 trillion by 2034, and some others suggesting upper bounds of about 60 trillion. Now, this is all going to depend on how quickly the world can come together and agree on regulation and jurisdiction, so value as well as title and claims to whatever's being sold are transferable globally at the speed of light. This is where we need to get the G7, the G20, United Nations, whatever it is. All these countries need to start talking together and working together on this. And you are seeing some collaboration, but to get this sped up, where like we're talking about all the money on, in tokenization in the crypto market in the next 10 years, you would really need to start bringing people together on a massive scale to get this done through all these jurisdictions. jurisdiction. Current XRPL tokenization as of quarter 2 2025, tokenized assets on the XRP ledger reached about 131.6 million, demonstrating institutional interest, but still limited compared to bigger chains, far from scale required for quadrillion-dollar markets. What would drive a quadrillion-dollar XRP market cap? Full-scale tokenization. The only way to reach this level is nearly all major classes of assets, stocks, bonds, real estates, commodities, currencies, and complex derivatives to be natively or fractionalized tokenized live trading on the XRP ledger. Settlement layer dominance XRP ledger would need to become the global standard for value transfer, asset settlement, and custody, not just bridge currency, but in a role similar to how SWIFT or central bank infrastructure handles all settlements today. The velocity and leverage. In theory, layered financial instruments, aka derivatives or leverage products, could multiply the represented value far beyond what exists in cash, liquid assets, but this still requires deep infrastructure and regulatory acceptance. Realistic math and limitations. World's global financial assets, equities, bonds, and derivatives are estimated around 500 trillion to 1.5 quadrillion, but almost all of it is represented rehypothecation leverage, not the actual money or liquid. So you might actually only have 10 trillion or 15 trillion here, but it's leveraged 50, 100, 200x, right? It's leveraged to the hilt. Impossible with current adoption for XRP to represent 2 quadrillion directly. Every tokenized transaction and settlement globally would need to pass to the XRP ledger. So we are talking about to strengthen the dollar, replace the petrodollar system, and prevent World War III. So that's from digital asset perspectives. Here's Paul Atkins on Super App. Key top priority.
A key priority of my chairmanship is to allow market participants to innovate with super apps. I'm often asked, what do you mean by a super app? Plain and simple, securities intermediaries should be able to offer a broad range of products and services under one roof with a single license. A broker-dealer with an alternative trading system should be able to offer trading in non-security crypto assets alongside crypto asset securities, traditional securities, and other services without requiring 50-plus state licenses or multiple federal licenses. I've directed the Commission staff to develop further guidance and rule proposals ultimately to make this super app vision a reality.
It is so nice to have an SEC director that actually cares about the crypto market. Oh my God, Gary Gensler at Paul Atkins. Woo! All right, love it, love it, love it. You picked the right person. Paul Atkins is the man. This is also something that people are like, how would the US get, Ripple's technology, right? Because they could buy it, but you have to go through a whole bureaucracy of getting government funds, taxpayer money to pay for it. But they could actually give some technology to the US for nothing. And this is that video.
I tell them what a gratis vendor is.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to go into the government. I was doing transition.
What is a gratis vendor?
A gratis vendor is an approved vendor for the United States of America that gives product to the government, doesn't sell it.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't have to go through the whole process of becoming a proper vendor because you're giving it to us. And then if you give it to Article 2, which is the president's stuff, then the president can accept, right? Because it's give.
Sorry, Howard, what's an example of this? Like just to make
I write some software.
You write some software.
I write some software for the Commerce Department to do a better job, XYZ. You just give it to me. And then I do QA on it and I can take it. If you sell it to me for $1, we go into government hell.
Right. The whole rigmarole.
Right. But if you give it to me, right. And then I set up, so I said, I'm calling it Doge.
All right. Doge was yikes. Okay, let's keep it going. Crypto super apps, all-in-one platforms that combine various financial services such as trading, lending, staking, and even custody of digital assets within a single interface or under one legal structure. This approach is designed to streamline compliance and make it more simpler for platforms to users to access multiple crypto functions without navigating fragmented licensing or regulatory barriers. All right, I did want to show you here. This is another clip from Paul Atkins.
Invasion of armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time has come. For too long, the SEC has weaponized its investigatory, subpoena, and enforcement authorities to subvert the crypto industry. That approach was not only ineffective, but injurious. It drove jobs, innovation, and capital overseas. American entrepreneurs bore the brunt and have been forced to spend fortunes on building a legal defense instead of a business. That chapter belongs to history. It's a new day at the SEC. Policy is no longer set by ad hoc enforcement actions. We will provide clear, predictable rules of the road so that innovators can thrive in the United States.
The next few years in the crypto market is going to be truly insane. I mean, you have the president, the administration, and you have all of the SEC, the CFTC, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, the OCC, SEC, everybody is pro crypto. Like I went to sleep and I woke up a few months later and everything's fixed. Not everything, but it feels better. Did talk about this already. I don't need to play this again, unfortunately here. And I did want to just show you at the end of the day, right? You cannot deny that Ripple and Stellar haven't been into some really interesting meetings. And when you're talking about moving the US financial system to blockchain rails, if that's what they really want to do, I feel like the winners have already been chosen. The winners have already been researched, piloted, sandboxed, tested, used, whatever you want to call it. They've been in the room the entire time. Everybody just wants to ignore it, right? Michael Saylor's not here. You don't see Vitalik Buterin in any of these meetings. Why is that? Bitcoin and Ethereum are the future of payments and settlement. Why aren't they here? I'll leave that with you. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. I hope you got some value. Peace out. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.